What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hoops Reference YouTube channel, where I upload at least twice a week, so subscribe below for consistent NBA content. Today, we're going to be talking about Kemba Walker. According to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, the Hornets have come out and said that they are willing to move Kemba Walker in the form of a trade. The Hornets have been underperforming immensely this year, and it appears that they might be directing their efforts towards rebuilding moving forward, which I guess means unloading their best player. With that being said, I'm going to be going over 5 teams that should target him in a trade, so let's get right into it. The first team that should go after Kemba Walker is the San Antonio Spurs. Tony Parker has been an absolute shell of himself this year after struggling through both injury woes and the fact that he's getting older. It's clear that they can't rely on him to produce at the level that he once was able to, and if the Spurs want to have a real shot beating the Warriors and the Rockets in the playoffs, they will probably need to make a change at that spot. Their alternative to Tony Parker this year has been second-year man Dejounte Murray, who is still super young and super raw, so putting the team's trust on his shoulders is probably not in the team's best interest at the moment. San Antonio's offense has only been middle of the pack so far this year, coming in at 14th in the league, and adding a player capable of getting buckets as well as Walker would help tremendously in that aspect. In order to get this done, the Spurs could offer Dejounte Murray, Kyle Anderson, Davis Bertans, and a first-round pick to give to the Hornets some youth and potential in return for Walker. The second team that should go after Kemba Walker is the Philadelphia 76ers. The Sixers are at a weird spot when it comes to the point guard position. They have Ben Simmons running the point at the moment, and he's doing a fantastic job creating offense for others this year, but his issue is that he doesn't spread the floor and struggles at times to create offense for himself. They are still waiting on their first overall pick, Markelle Fultz, to recover from his shoulder injury that is still clearly hampering his jump shot. With the team currently in the 8th spot in the Eastern Conference standings, they have playoffs in mind and want to be able to compete. Offense, however, has been one of their biggest issues this season, ranking 23rd in the league in offensive efficiency. What they need is someone who can consistently get himself buckets down the stretch, because this team has a horrible habit blowing leads in the second half, and Walker would give them just that. In a deal, they have plenty of trade pieces. JJ Redick and Amir Johnson are on expiring contracts, which would open up cap space for the Hornets moving forward. Justin Anderson and Furkan Korkmaz are young guys who could get bigger opportunities on a rebuilding team, and this might hurt some Sixers fans to hear, but Dario Saric might have to be included to get a player of Kemba Walker's caliber. I'm not saying they do it, but it's definitely something to at least think about. The third team that should go after Kemba Walker is the New York Knicks. The Knicks are currently caught in a weird state where they have a roster that should probably be focused on tanking for one more season at least, but they're exceeding all expectations and are currently in the playoff hunt. Kristaps Porzingis has taken another step forward this season and looks every part of a franchise player, but the rest of the roster simply isn't up to par with other playoff teams ahead of them. They are currently starting Jarrett Jack at point guard, which is a recipe for disaster, and Frank Ntilikina is being brought along slowly as a pro, even though he has looked very solid as a player in the minutes he gets. That being said, however, when a player as good as Kemba Walker is available through trade on a fantastic contract, being paid only $12 million a year for this year and next year, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. If the Knicks want Kemba, they will probably have to give up Ntilikina in a deal, along with a few other pieces added to that deal. But Walker would greatly improve the Knicks and give Porzingis a legitimate sidekick to build around for the future. The fourth team that should go after Kemba Walker is the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are currently in 4th place in the West, yet there are only 3 teams that most people think that can compete in the West. The Warriors, Rockets, and Spurs are all currently the 3 teams that most people agree are the teams vying for the conference title, but Minnesota could be thrown into that mix if they added Kemba. Jeff Teague, the team's current point guard, has been solid, and there's certainly nothing huge to complain about in terms of his production, but Kemba Walker is very clearly a superior player that would elevate the Timberwolves as a whole. Jimmy Butler has been playing at an MVP level player on both ends of the floor this year. Cat has been playing better than usual on the defensive end, but the team's problem has been consistency. In a deal, Jeff Teague would definitely have to be included. Shabazz Muhammad is a guy who can't quite find a role in the Wolves' rotation at the moment, so he could also be included, and any variation of future picks could be in there as well. The Timberwolves should definitely try it, and the Hornets should at least consider it if tanking is their goal. The fifth and final team that should go after Kemba Walker is the Phoenix Suns. The Suns have been rebuilding seemingly ever since the Steve Nash days. Having picked in the lottery every year since 2011, the team needs to find a way to break out of this purgatory and become actual competitors in the ruthless Western Conference. Tyler Ulis is currently the team's point guard, and no offense to him, but that is a major weakness in the lineup. Devin Booker is already a borderline all-star at 21 years old, and the Suns have yet to find a backcourt mate to pair him with after 3 years. Kemba Walker would be great in this role, creating one of the deadliest scoring backcourts in the league. The Suns might not have any hope of making the playoffs this year, but adding Walker would make things very interesting for next year. In order to go about adding Walker, the Suns have trade assets galore. Moving Brandon Knight's contract would probably be ideal. Greg Monroe's on an expiring contract that would clear cap space for the Hornets if they took him, and bigs like Alex Len and Dragan Bender are probably not untouchable. Overall, this would be a very interesting location for Walker going into next year, and Phoenix might be able to finally take the next step forward competing for the playoffs if it gets done. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you subscribe if you're new and leave a like on the video. I post multiple videos every week, so stay tuned for that, and follow me on social media @HoopsReference for updates and more. See you guys next video.